But Eric, why? Why? Why would anybody be paying money for anybody to lie about the shape of the world? Why? Joe, let me make something clear, okay? Copernicus restored the sun at the center of the known universe, displacing Earth. And that was how we got our great foundations for Durwood's evolution. And then you find out we're not special. We're just one of many life forms on this Earth that accidentally inculcated amongst billions of similar galaxies. We're nothing special. Today we even learn that even the universe is not special. Okay, so this is what I want to impress upon the audience so that they will continue to be good dead slaves and you and I can continue to be in zone 1 when they start the Hunger Games. Oh, well, you're zone 3, I think, still.
Well, if they haven't looked into it at all, I can see how they would think that way, and I kind of thought that way years ago as well, that, well, it's just the shape of the Earth. What does that matter? Does it really matter whether it's this shape or that shape? So if you think of it on that level, then sure, it seems insignificant, and it seems like it could be a waste of time, even if it was true. But if you think of it a little deeper than that, and you think of it as being the most fundamental lie, is where we are, what we're doing here, the earth beneath our feet, the lights in the sky above us, what they actually are. And if we've been lied about all of these, as well as the Big Bang and evolution and the way that we supposedly got here and the purpose we may or may not have in this nihilistic cosmology that they've presented with us, it becomes a big deal. And when you look at the potential for a truth like this, a truth that has been suppressed for 500 years now, the flat earth truth, if that gets out and it is shown that every government, every university, every pundit, every television station is lying knowingly and censoring this truth, what happens when it actually gets out? The kind of restructuring of society and the system that truthers are looking for, that people know we need, is what can happen and what will happen and what must happen.
I will do anything to keep this gig, Joe. Anything.
If this truth gets out, because this is huge. It is the truth. I guarantee anyone who's never heard of this before, look into the flat earth. The earth is flat, just like it appears on the horizon. The earth is motionless, just as you feel motionless. Everything in the sky revolves around us, just as it appears if you look up and use your own eyes, your own senses. Everything that your senses tell you is what's happening. But you've been fed a false system. You've been shown CGI images with a ball earth with a horizon that curves. You've been shown more CGI images with a ball earth that spins. You've been shown planets that spin like billiard balls around each other in many different directions at many different speeds simultaneously. You've been shown all these things in CGI format. You've had Freemasons lie to you and tell you they've seen it for themselves, but you've never seen it for yourself. You've just been lied to and shown pictures, and you believe those. It's not science. Science, in fact, shows that the earth is flat and motionless, and there are hundreds upon hundreds of proofs and experiments that have been repeated throughout history for hundreds of years, but you haven't been taught them in school, because they don't want you to be taught that in school. They show you a spinning globe on your first day and tell you that gravity keeps water and buildings and people stuck to the bottom of that thing, and they repeat it until you believe it, your parents believe it, your grandparents believe it. 500 years ago, people were believing it. They even started trying to get people to believe it thousands of years ago, but it didn't pass until about Copernicus in 1500s when this really started to take shape. So the reason that some of the pseudo-truthers, so to speak, or just mainstream sheeple don't want this to get out and say that it's a distraction, it's because they don't know how far-reaching the implications of a truth this deep actually surfacing would be. It's like holding a balloon underwater. When you let go, that thing's just going to rush to the surface, the water's going to go flying, and that's what we need. It's exactly what we need. So That's what I'm working towards doing.
But why would you think that this is a conspiracy? Why would they lie about the Earth spinning when it's really the universe spinning? It's just really important to me that you don't get duped by someone exploiting your ignorance of the laws of physics. Someone like Eric Dubay. That's all. That's all I care about.
It's not that they don't care. It's that they don't know that it's true. And even if it is true, they can't see how deep this goes. So they don't understand why it's even relevant or important. The shape of the Earth doesn't seem that important until you really expound upon the deepness of this conspiracy and how far-reaching it is. And it's much more than just the shape of the Earth. I mean, they're lying not only about the shape of the Earth, but how much Earth there is.
What do you mean there's more land, Eric?
Certain structures that ancient man claimed to have been on this Earth that are now wiped off of the libraries. You can barely find any information on things, such as Mount Meru and the supposed whirlpool surrounding it that causes the ocean's tides. These are interesting concepts that were written about, over 500 years ago, but nowadays you can't even find existing copies of some of these books. Inventio Fortunato, for instance, is one of these lost books. They've got all these lost books that are known about and written about, but the original source themselves now are lost to ancient history, a lot of them in Alexandria and whatnot. So we're trying to recover lost history here. More than 500 years ago, the entire world knew that it was flat and motionless, but in the past 500 years, all information about this has been systematically done away with, so it's really difficult to come across it.
This should be a fundamental part of what it is to be educated. Being able to judge what is true and what is not.
If you want to control a population, do you think you go and you tell them exactly the truth about everything that's going on and the Earth that they're living in and how they came to be and what their place is in the cosmos? Do you think it's a good idea to tell them exactly what it is? Or would it be a better idea to tell them the exact friggin' opposite of what it is and make them believe that, so that it disempowers them, so that it turns you into the authority, so that all their information about space and the planets and cosmology and where we came from and where we might be going and who humanity really is comes from these few people? Neil De Grasse Tyson, Brian Cox. You get your little spokespeople, and they are now the purveyors of all truth off of this flat world that we live on, trying to tell us otherwise. So firstly, it sets up your Copernicus and your Newton and your Galileo and all of these Masons throughout history as being the saviors of science, as being the most trusted authorities, as being the initiators of Renaissance and starting this whole new way of correct thinking. So obviously, if you're going to control people, you have to lie to them. What's the biggest lie you could possibly lie to them about? This is it.
Who am I? In an ever-expanding universe, slowly pulling itself apart into nothingness. What does the question, who am I, even matter?
People often say, well, what does it matter whether the Earth is flat or a ball? It doesn't affect my life in any way, which is really an ignorant statement, because it's the most fundamental thing. What's beneath your feet, what's over your head, what is this reality about? To claim to not care or think that it's not important in any way to figure out what's really going on. Well, there you go. I mean, that just proves what they've done. They've turned people into zombies that can actually say that it doesn't matter what reality is. How does that change my life? Well, if reality doesn't change your life, then what does that say about your life?
Hamburger.
Eric?
Well, if you care about truth, then you should absolutely care. And if you care about your existence and humanity's existence, then you should care where we came from and what we're living on. Like I said, it's the biggest lie possible. So when I hear this all the time too, people say, what does it matter if it's flat or a triangle or a square? I don't care what shape the Earth is that I'm living on. What a waste of time. Yeah, it's not about the shape. It's about the lie. It's about the fact that we've been lied to for 500 years and we're still being lied to, and they're fleecing us of money and they're fleecing us of our actual purpose here on Earth and where we come from. Do you think that you came from a big bang explosion accident of matter, and then humanity and consciousness and life just randomly somehow evolved out of that explosion? Is that the cosmology that you've chosen to believe in? If it is, then it's very important, because that's absolute nonsense, and you've chosen to believe in a metaphysics and a physics, which are fairy tales. And if you don't think that's important, I don't understand you. I don't understand how you could think that that is not important, to know the truth of the earth, where we live on and where we've come from.
Eric is so crazy.
It all came about because of a godless, random, big bang cosmic accident, and through chance evolution of a blind, dumb universe, animals and humans and the diversity and complexity of nature just randomly came into existence from their non-God science explanation that they're trying to get everyone to buy into with this whole heliocentric spinning ball Earth mythos we've been fed for the past 500 years.
That doesn't make any sense. Why would it be easier to control people if they're on a ball than if they were on a plate?
Yeah, I mean, our eyes and experience tell us the Earth is flat and motionless, and everything in the sky revolves around us. But when we cease to believe our own eyes and experience, we have to prostrate ourselves at the feet of these very pseudoscientists who are blinding us, treat them as experts, astronomical priests who have special knowledge only they can access, like the Hubble telescope. So by brainwashing us of something so gigantic and fundamental, it actually makes every other kind of lesser indoctrination a piece of cake. Earth being the flat, fixed center of the universe around which everything in the heavens revolves gives a special importance and significance not only to Earth, but to us humans, the most intelligent among the intelligent designers' designs. By turning Earth into a spinning ball thrown around the sun and shot through infinite space from a godless Big Bang, they turn humanity into a random, meaningless, purposeless accident of a blind, dumb universe. So it's like trauma-based mind control, beating the divinity out of us with their mental manipulations.
Well, that's what I do. I'm Neil De Grasse Tyson, bitch.
People are always asking, why do they do this? Other than the obvious profit margin motive, NASA being the biggest black budget black hole in existence, sucking in over $30 billion taxpayer money for the fake moon landings alone. Nowadays, hundreds of billions of dollars, and not just NASA, but RASA and all the other fake space organizations around the world, giving CGI images for hundreds of billions of dollars. So this modern atheist Big Bang heliocentric globe Earth chance evolution paradigm spiritually controls humanity by removing God or any sort of intelligent design and replaces purposeful divine creation with haphazard random cosmic coincidence. And so by removing Earth from the motionless center of the universe, these Masons have moved us physically and metaphysically from a place of supreme importance to one of complete nihilistic indifference. If the Earth is the center of the universe, then the ideas of God, creation, and a purpose for human existence are resplendent. But if the Earth is just one of billions of planets revolving around billions of stars and billions of galaxies, then the ideas of God, creation, and a specific purpose for Earth and human existence become highly implausible. So by surreptitiously indoctrinating us into their scientific materialist sun worship, not only do we lose faith in anything beyond the material, we gain absolute faith in materiality, superficiality, status, selfishness, hedonism, and consumerism. If there's no God and everyone's just an accident, then all that really matters is me, me, me. So they've turned Madonna, the mother of God, into the material girl living in a material world. Their rich, powerful corporations with their slick sun cult logos sell us idols to worship, slowly taking over the world while we tacitly believe their science, vote for their politicians, buy their products, listen to their music, watch their movies, all sacrificing our souls at the altar of materialism.
Say what?
It's a big deception. I'd say it's the biggest cover-up and conspiracy in history. We've been completely deluded for 500 years.
Joe, beyond a certain number of people, the conduct of human beings, if the secret is really juicy and really, really tantalizing, I think there's 0% chance that that's likely. 0.